Good morning. It's early in the morning. Kids are still asleep. He's gone to work. And I'm just sitting here and, I was thinking, I've been through so much in my life. I've thought about writing a book. You know, I don't know how successful it would be. And I really don't care. It's just, I think it would be very therapeutic. You know, I don't know how many people can relate to this, but I often sit here and wonder, what have I done so wrong in my life that I've had to endure so much pain? Whether it's physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain. Just what have I done? I mean, even as a kid, I endured so much. You know, my dad wasn't a very nice man, at least to us. He wasn't nice to my mom. He wasn't nice to his children, well, except for one. And that's because he felt guilty because he felt like some kind of way it was his fault that she was born, with cerebral palsy. And in a way, it was because whatever a man consumes is released in his sperm. And my dad was a very bad alcoholic. He had so many demons and he never got help. And because of these demons from his childhood, his wife and kids suffered. And that wasn't fair. You know, his mom took a lot of things out on them, especially after my grandpa left. He was supposed to go out for a loaf of bread, and he never came back home, you know. And so she abused them. And my dad used to tell my mom all the time how his mom took it out on him. You know, he was abused with anything she can get her hand on. She also emotionally and mentally abused him, and that stuck with him for the rest of his life. He never got help for that, and so we suffered for that. He used to kick us, choke us, throw us into things, punch us, slap us. We would get hit all over our bodies with a 2x4 that he had, that he drilled holes in. That was his paddle. With a belt, his boots, extension cords, whatever it was, we got beat with it. We would go to school with bruises all over our bodies. And I couldn't understand how nobody knew. I mean, what kids go to school in the heat wearing long sleeve shirts, turtlenecks at that, and long pants? And when the bruises would heal, we'd wear shorts, short sleeve shirts. I don't know how the school didn't recognize that, or if they even cared. Then when he passed away, I thought, okay, no longer will any of us be abused. Oh, I was wrong. My mom ended up getting with a guy, in fact, my dad's best friend's brother, who got her hooked on drugs, who set her up one day to be passed out. He unlocked the door for his brother, my dad's best friend, who I woke up to laying on me with his genitals out and molesting me. I had a boyfriend at the time. I told him about it. Him and my brother concocted this scheme to sneak me out at night because it wasn't a one-time thing. He continually would sneak in my room, and no matter how many times I told him no, I would wake up to him in my room, and it was getting to the point to where he was getting closer and closer to trying to rape me. So they would sneak me out the house once my mom was asleep, and I would stay the night at one of his sister's places so that I was safe. Finally got caught, but my mom blamed me and beat me for trying to keep myself safe. Then she decided she didn't want to do drugs anymore. She wanted to be a better parent, the mother that she used to be before getting with this guy. And she moved all of us to Texas. I didn't want to leave my family. I didn't want to leave my friends, because I already knew what was going to happen when we came to Texas. I mean, her part of the family already didn't have anything to do with us because we were Black and Native American, and she was white. What would their friends think? That this good old country girl from Texas went to another state and married this Black and Native American man. Her and my older brother, who was full white, my dad adopted him and raised him as his own, were the only ones allowed to visit with her family once we moved to Texas. We weren't allowed to go to their houses. They didn't want anyone to know that they were related to us, just to her and our older brother. That hurt. But I thought of it like, okay, one day they'll need us before we ever need them, so I wasn't going to worry about it. I just knew that I didn't want to be like the people who were in our lives that abused us in some type of way or denied us because of our skin color. So I decided I was going to be a better person. So I would help people. I would be nice to people. I was trying to be a good person. Well, I ended up with somebody who at first was a good guy, loving, sweet. And he stayed loving and sweet, but he got some bad advice from someone, a family member of mine. In fact, my mother, who told him to beat me. And guess what? That's what he started doing. So off and on for years, I was abused by him. I loved him, stayed with him for 20-something years in hopes that he would change, that we keep his hands off me. And for a while he did, I gave him a kidney. After I gave him a kidney to save his life, the abuse stopped for a little while. But he was always so jealous. I would have to ask permission to go places, let him know where I was and whatnot. And it was crazy. Then after a while, after I had my son, the abuse started again. Well, at one point, I was like, you know what? I had to endure watching my mom go through this. Plus, my dad would hit on us, would beat on us. So I left him. And I thought my life was going to get better. And it did for a little bit. But while I was with my ex, I ended up getting injured, hurt my back, so I was living with that pain. The guy I'm married to now knew that even though my ex and I were not together, that I was living with him because I couldn't afford to live on my own because disability just did not pay enough. He promised that he would take care of me, that he would love me, and that no matter what, he would try and he would work to keep us together. And I promised him the same thing, that no matter what, I would be there for him. I would love him unconditionally. I would do what it took to make us work because I didn't want to go through another failed marriage. And I told him that. Neither one of us wanted to be remarried. But we knew we were it for each other. And I told him, you know, I've had so much bad luck when it came to guys that I was always abused in some way or fashion because even my very first boyfriend abused me. Ex-husband abused me. I dated one other guy before my husband who abused me. And then I got with my husband. The thing was, is my husband and I were friends first. Because I was always told, you know, if you're friends first, it will last. That was a crock. Because the promises that we made to each other, I kept them. I busted my butt to make this marriage work. I did everything he asked of me. Everything he asked me not to do, I didn't do because he didn't like it. Everything he wanted me to do, I did it because it made him happy. But in the end, I still got left. I was that wife that was submissive. I didn't ask him to do anything when he came home from work. I didn't nag him about hanging out with his friends. In fact, I encouraged him to go out and have boy time, guy time with his friends. Because like I told him, every guy deserves to get out and hang out with his friends from time to time. I had no issue with that. I trusted him. I didn't nag at him when he would talk to any of his female friends on the phone. I wasn't jealous. I trusted him. And I shouldn't have. Because he broke every promise he ever made to me. He broke the promise to stick in there and to make this work no matter what. We're going through a divorce. He promised he would love me the way I deserved to be loved. And he did for a little while. But somewhere down the line, he stopped loving me the way I deserved. He stopped meeting my needs. But I still met his. I did whatever I could to make him happy. I went out of my way to make him. I even walked on eggshells, trying not to make him angry. But then when I started sticking up for the kids, once the kids started staying with us full time, and I seen how he was hurting them and breaking them down, I started standing up for the kids, and he didn't like that. Nobody could tell him what to do. Nobody could tell him how to talk to his kids or raise his kids or to discipline his kids. And his discipline was not fair. It was very unfair. And it was hurtful. And the way he talks to these kids is hurtful. Not only that, when I asked him why he talked to certain friends the way he does, he would always tell me they're adults. If they didn't like the way he talked to them, they can hang up the phone, which is true. That is true. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. And I used to tell him that it's wrong. People have feelings. They have emotions. You can't just break people down and think it's okay. It's not cool. And it's not right. But like I told him, you're right, they're grown. And if they like it, hey. But I used to tell him, just think about it. How would you feel if somebody treated you like that? And he would be like, I wouldn't stand for it. I would put, so why would you put somebody else through that? Well, he didn't like that either. He felt I was trying to change him. And all I was trying to do was give him a different way of thinking about things, because I've been hurt by people my whole life. Still don't understand why, but it is what it is. Not only that, I used to tell him, I can live without the affection. Since it's something you say you can't do, but you did it while we were dating. The whole 3.5 years we were dating, you were so affectionate. But once we got married, you slowly stopped being affectionate. Fine, I can live without that. But can you at least give me a 5 or 10 minutes of your time? No interruptions, no friends, no co-workers, no nothing interrupted. Just me and you talking and getting to know each other all over again. He couldn't do that. And he got mad at me for that. Like I told him, I can live without all this other stuff. I don't need anything but 5 or 10 minutes of your time. If you can't give me 10 minutes of your time, fine. Just give me 5 minutes. And you don't have to give it to me every day. Just give me 5 minutes of your time at least once a week, and I'm happy. But he didn't want to do that either. And it made him mad. Another thing that upset him was he would give his kids all these extravagant gifts. His parents would give them gifts. Their other grandparents would give them gifts. His aunt and uncle would give them gifts, and a couple of his cousins. My son only got gifts from me and his dad. That was it. So when I asked him, why don't you ever do anything for my son for Christmas? And he was like, well, you don't do anything for my kids. That's a lie. I've been doing for your kids since day one. Not only do I give them birthday gifts, I give them Christmas gifts every year. I let them go to the store, pick out whatever it is that they want for their Christmas present. And then when I do for my son, I do for them too, because I love them just like they're my own. And there's nothing I wouldn't do for them, just like there's nothing I wouldn't do for my son. That made him upset, because he felt like then he had to buy my son something. And of course, it was just one gift, while my son watched his kids open up all these gifts from dad, both sets of grandparents, his aunt and uncle, and a couple of his cousins. And all my son had were the gifts his dad might gave him, and the one gift he gave him. He was angry about that. He was also angry at the fact, this is what basically just the straw that broke the camel's back for him. When he told a total stranger that she could come to our house straight after her job, without going home to take a shower or anything, knowing she takes public transportation during the whole COVID lockdown thing. And I asked him why. And I told him he could at least talk to me and we could have decided together. I didn't care if she came to the house. All I wanted were precautions to be taken so that she was safe while she was here, and that him and our children were safe while she was here. That's all I wanted. But he felt like I was questioning his decision. So now we're getting a divorce. So every time I asked him to be a better person, a better dad, a better friend, and to think about the health and safety of all of us, it was a problem. And I don't understand it. But he feels like he's right. And he got some idiots out there called friends who are egging this on. Like it's okay. And what makes it so bad is his friends go through so many bad things with their spouses and their girlfriends, but they're pushing my husband to go through with this divorce, even though they know he has no valid reason for the divorce. So, as much as I love him, and as much as I would love to fight for this marriage, I'm going to let him have his divorce. I just don't understand how people like him, who have continuously hurt me throughout the years, are having so many good things happen in their lives. But me, all I've ever done with, I've given people my last because I felt like they needed it more than I did. I have given people a shirt off my back. I have always been that voice of reason for people. I have helped so many people, yet I keep getting screwed in the end, and I don't get it. And they always say that when you do good, good comes back to you, but where's my good? When am I going to finally get the good that I put out there in the world? No matter how much pain I go through with my injuries and my disability, I've always been that positive person, that happy person that smiled through it and was still helping other people. But I'm the one that keeps ended up with a jacked up life and hurt and disappointed, and I don't know why. What did I ever do to deserve all of this? I don't get it. But I know I'm not going to go through this again because I refuse to give my heart to anybody else, because this was the one man I truly believed and trusted would never do this to me. So I gave him my whole heart, and that's something I've never done before. I've never given anybody my whole heart except for my kids. And I think that's what hurts so bad, is because I trusted him more than I've trusted anybody. I believed in him when I didn't believe in anybody else. I let down the barriers and the walls to my heart and loved him fully and unconditionally and with my all. And for what? Here I am, about to be single again, hurt, broken, and confused. And he doesn't understand why. He keeps telling me he doesn't understand why I'm so hurt. Are you serious? Did you ever love me? And y'all, let me tell y'all, this is so easy for him. He showed no emotion whatsoever through this whole thing. But I kind of expected that, because he stopped showing me any type of emotion a long time ago. And no matter what, through all his faults, all his flaws, I loved him anyway. And I forgave him over and over and over again. And although there was no reason for him to forgive me for these things, he took them as an attack on him and me trying to change him. Like I told him, you don't have to stop doing these things. I'm just asking, why do you do them? And why do you hurt people the way that you do? And I would tell him it's not right. You shouldn't do people like that. And I always tell him, in the end, what you do to other people is what's going to come back to you tenfold. What you put out in the world is going to come back to you tenfold. But it's not. It's coming to me. I just know I'm tired of being hurt. So I won't be in any relationships. I will never get married again. I'm just done. Because I'm tired of being hurt. I'm tired of my heart being stepped on. I'm tired of being that submissive wife, only to be broken down in the end and tore down and thrown away Like I was never anything to anybody. Like I never meant anything. And it's like, you know, we stopped making decisions together years ago because then he started just taking over and making all the decisions. You know, I never treated him like a child or like he was younger than me, in which he is. He's younger than me, and that was my first mistake. I should have never dated a friend. I should have left him in the friend zone, and I should have never dated anybody younger than me. You know, I was always into older men, and I made an exception for him. But now I'm not going to do either. I'm not going to date older men. I'm not going to date men my age. I'm not going to date younger men. I'm just done. I'm not going to date anybody. I'm just going to stay single because maybe then everybody else's karma will stop coming back on me. Because that's what I feel like. I feel like everything that everybody does wrong seems to come back on me somehow, no matter how much I help other people, no matter how much good I put out there. It seems like I keep getting back karma, and I don't know why. I mean, I'm not going to stop doing good. I'm not going to stop helping people. I'm not going to stop loving people unconditionally and being there for people. I'm just not going to give my heart away anymore, or my life. Because it's not worth it in the end. In the end, love doesn't win. Ignorance, narcissism, and hate seems to win in the end. So I'm just done. But I'm going to start doing what's best for me. I've always done what was best for everybody else. I've always done things that made other people happy. And I have yet for somebody to do anything to make me happy. And it seems like no matter how much unconditional love I give people, I never get it in return. So from now on, it's just going to be about me and the kids. But I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to start writing. I'm going to write a book. It's going to be a series starting from my childhood to my teenage years to my adult life. Just chronicling everything that I've gone through in my life. In my whole life, the only good things that have happened to me were the kids. Nothing else. And it's just sad that not only do I have to live with pain every single day of my life from my injuries and the numerous of surgeries I've had on my shoulder and my back, but I've had to live with the hurt that other people have caused me. And no matter how much I've forgiven people and loved them anyway, they never loved me the same. Well, time for me to go. I have to finish the laundry and take the dog out. That's another crazy thing. Even though I'm going through this divorce, I'm still doing things for this man like we're not going through a divorce, and it doesn't matter to him. Oh, he's being nicer when he's here. But when he's gone, it's like something crawls up his butt. And then he starts in text messages. And he's not very nice. And then he gets angry when I ignore it. And angry when I answer. Because he doesn't like my answers. But I don't understand why I keep going through the things I'm going through. But maybe one day. Maybe one day. People who have done me wrong will get their karma. and my life will start to be better. I don't know. 'Cause so far, I'm wondering why. Why am I even here? When all I keep doing is enduring pain. I don't know.